Welcome, everyone. You're watching our first episode of Right on Focus. My name is Gene Ho, best known as Donald Trump's personal campaign photographer for the 2016 election. And with me is my better half, Nadine Ho.
Yes, indeed. Nadine, Gene's wife. I am a photographer. I've been shooting now for 16 years, and I am the mother of 4, sometimes 5 when I count Gene, and sometimes I need 2.
You know what? Everyone always does the obligatory, my better half. But truthfully and honestly, she is. Everyone knows about my book, Trumpography. I wrote it about my experiences with Trump. But truth be told, Nadine was the one who edited the book, so I wouldn't look stupid. So thank you, Nadine. All right, we have a great show for you. We have Dustin Nemos, the best-selling author. He is in our studio today, and we're going to talk to him. Also, Nadine, we're going to go backstage. Where are we going to go?
We were with Diamond and Silk, the lovely ladies, a conservative voice, and just 2 really, really incredibly warm and genuine women.
And finally, we're going to get started right off the bat. We're going to talk about my friend, the artist formerly known as Prince. And why are we talking about Prince? Why is he relevant today? Well, we're going to tell you how Prince is more relevant in the news today than almost ever before. So we'll be right back with Right on Focus. We are back, and we're going to talk about the artist formerly known as Prince. And actually, his name is Prince Rogers Nelson, and I knew him personally. Crazy story. Everyone's always asking me about this. And first of all, when Nadine and I were first dating, I was like, hey, I'm friends with Prince. And she was like, yeah, right.
When we first met, there were a lot of stories that he told that I was certain were not actually true. But truthfully, the longer I met it, they kept popping up, legit.
Legit. She's met all the friends of friends that I was with Prince. Craziest story. Okay, so I was a Jehovah's Witness. Prince was a Jehovah's Witness too. So you had Prince as a Jehovah's Witness. And the problem was Prince didn't fit the mold of a Jehovah's Witness. And quite frankly, I had long hair back then too. So I didn't really. So basically what happened was a man named Larry Graham was a Jehovah's Witness, and he still is, I believe. But he was trying to help Prince. So I became friends with him, and in part of his inner circle where we studied the Bible, got to know him and all this stuff. Okay, that's the background story. Here's the crazy thing about it. And when you talk about Prince, you wonder why is he back in the news, or why am I talking about him today? Here's the crazy thing about it. We all know the story about Prince and what went on with him. He was in a battle with Warner Brothers for his music.
Well, to legally own his own name, really,
right.
It was all tied up into the name.
So the craziest thing about it is, and this is just, okay, if I could just say this is just me. This is me saying it. If I was in a legal battle for my name, the name Prince, and all the legal copyrights and all that stuff, what I would do is I would put pressure on those people by telling other people, hey, I have some dirt on you. And here's what I'm talking about. I was backstage with Prince, and a man named Chris Tucker was there. And Chris Tucker is a good guy, okay? But lo and behold, Chris Tucker is on the plane with Epstein. And we have it here. Nadine, I'll show you the flight log with Clinton on Lolita Express. That's what they call it. It's not my name that I call it. So you have this first picture. It is the symbol that Prince used during that battle when he was the artist formerly known as Prince.
Correct.
This is his symbol. Okay, we are all familiar with it. Now this next picture, which is really interesting, it's an overview of Epstein Island. I think it's basically a Google search image where they take a picture of
aerial.
Of Epstein Island. It is an exact replica of the sign. It's all there.
It would seem very much as though Prince is speaking without words through the symbol that has no name.
Right. Anyone that saw that, put it this way, anyone that was on Epstein Island, Prince was never on Epstein Island that I know of. He's a really great guy. Chris Tucker was never on Epstein Island that I know of. He's a great guy. But my point with this is that when you saw anyone that went to Epstein Island and did all the things that people talked about, allegedly or whatever happened on Epstein Island, if you saw that Prince symbol and you knew what Epstein Island looked like from above, it's exact.
If you knew what they were doing and you knew that they had the power and ownership of your name, it seems like an awfully keen way of telling them, hey, you might want to back off of me.
Right. I mean, just basically look at the picture and you see the picture of Prince's symbol and what Epstein Island looked like. I mean, from the bottom to the side hook to the top of it, it all matches. And I believe, and this is my personal opinion, okay? I believe that Prince was, even though I know Prince, I knew him, I think he was saying, hey, check out what I know. And then the people in power would tell other people, hey guys, you got to back off Prince. What does he want? He wants the rights to his music, just back off of him.
And they had given him an awful lot too. In 1992, Prince was actually made the vice president of Warner Brothers Music. He was the vice president. That's how much they were willing to give to him to keep him in the fold. Not long after that, a few years later, actually 3 years after he started using this symbol, is when you'll remember he used to walk with the slave written on his cheek. And I thought that was awfully interesting that he chose the word slave, I'm sure for more reasons than one, but what we know about Epstein Island and the supposed human trafficking, perhaps there's another connection there as well.
The point is really when you think about it, back then, no one knew about this stuff. And the point is that Chris Tucker knew Prince. I was there with Prince when Chris Tucker was there, and we were in Washington, D.C. What I'm saying is possibly they talked and say, hey, listen, I know what they're doing. Chris Tucker could have talked to Prince and say, I know what they're doing. Back then, no one knew anything about Epstein Island. No one knew, the word Lolita Express never came about. No one knew anything about it. But anyone involved with that would see that image and say, whoa, back off this guy because he knows too much.
Absolutely.
Just a thought there. If you want more, I'm not going to be talking about this too much after this. We have on our website, Right on Focus, we have other clips, and we also have some private clips that we'll talk about. And the reason being, some are subscription-based because there's things I will not say in public, but behind the scenes we'll talk about it. But I will also talk about what I think about Prince's death. I'll just say it. I think he was murdered. This is my personal opinion. I know some of my friends that was friends with Prince, they don't really want me to, and they say no. They don't want me to talk about this, and they say that no, it wasn't, that he wasn't murdered. But at least on that website, I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and that'll be like some other stuff. But you can check it out on Right on Focus. I'll talk more about that. But we'll be right back, and we're going to talk. Coming up in the show is Dustin Nemos. Hey guys, we are back on Right on Focus. My name is Gene Ho, and this is Nadine Ho. And we're going to take a little bit lighter thing right now. You're not going to believe it. We went to a Bernie Sanders rally. Did you enjoy it, Nay?
I just needed the perspective. You know, I've seen the Trump rallies. I just wanted to know what it was like to feel the burn.
And the deep, Nadine goes, when you go there is like a deep concentration of people with purple hair. That's pretty much who you get at these event. Now, I want to contrast that because we have a couple of videos of the events that I've done. These are my events, and the first one is us when we went to give a talk in Tucson, Arizona. And it's just interesting that this is a clip of it, what it was like before our event. So this is my event, and Nate will watch this clip. Hey guys, me and my son Cruz, we're kind of backstage in the green room area. But it's interesting, we're just getting ready to speak to the group in Tucson, Arizona. But I just want to show you the underpinning of society, what's really going on in America right now. That you can have someone like me who is just speaking on conservative values, and people are coming out in droves. I'll just show you right here. So we're in the green room back here. You can see all that is people coming out to hear people talk about conservative values. So it just shows you what's really going on in America today. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe all of that. There's a lot of good things going on in America right now. Right, Cruz? Yes. Okay, so that was me. Okay, and you can see people are there before the event. Everyone's happy. They're talking. Now, here is Diamond and Silk before their events. This is before their events for the VIP, and you can see the enthusiasm. And then I'm going to just roll this here, and we can talk about this, what we see here. But what we have is all these people before the event, and they're lining up to meet Diamond and Silk.
Absolutely. I actually had a chance to speak with a lot of these folks, and the one thing that I hear recurring constantly over and over is, folks will say, before Diamond and Silk, before Trump, I really wasn't much in the political sphere. I didn't really understand exactly what was going on. But because of these ladies, because of Donald Trump, I plugged in and I got hungry for information. And that's kind of what you see here, is just some very enthusiastic, excited individuals.
And it's interesting to note that all of this was before the actual event. So the place was packed out. I am telling you guys, Diamond and Silk and I, on separate occasions, on my events and their events, are outdrawing on my book tour just about all of the Democratic candidates in the number of people that go to their events. We'll be right back with Right on Focus.
Victory Junction!
Fantastic. Hi, I'm Gene Hub. Victory Junction is a year-round camp for kids with chronic and serious illnesses. It's set in a medically sound environment which enables children to have a safe experience in the time of their lives at absolutely no cost to their families. Join me in making a big difference in the lives of these children with your tax-deductible donations. To find out more, just go to victoryjunction.org and feel your heart race. So we're talking with Dustin Nemos. You probably seen the main part on it. He is an author of this book, and it is very interesting, The Great Awakening. So Dustin, tell us a little bit about you.
So kind of a vague and broad question.
Yes, it is.
So there is a movement behind this thing, and honestly, it's America's time to have another revolution, peaceful, nonviolent revolution, but one of justice and just awareness. Honestly, that's kind of the problem here. We had once in this country before, anonymous folks kind of stood up and shook off tyranny. They would go and they would write pamphlets like Common Sense from Thomas Paine. They'd mail it to the church door or something nearby to try to get people's attention on the truth. And they would handwrite these things. They would go out there, probably a lot of work and possibly danger to even go out and do that. Today we just have to go online and go to Facebook and Twitter and talk about things. And in a similar sense, we're having a revolution. And that revolution of consciousness, of information, is poured out around them with the fake news media and such.
Absolutely.
So,
Why do you feel there's so much controversy wrapped up in the idea of this movement?
Well, it's a threat to those in power. So anytime that there's a threat to those in power, they react to it, right? You attack that which you fear the most. So Q is the most attacked thing out there next to Trump because they're really terrified of it.
Yeah.
And what is Q? at this point, it's not even really a person. You know, it's a team working with President Trump. Yeah, sure, but really at this point, it's a movement. It's a community.
Would you say that? What would you say to people that say, "Oh, well, you know, this is all Q is not even real. You guys are just living in a fantasy land"? What would you say to someone like that?
I mean, evidence at this point. I'm a business guy, right? I'm a investment kind of background guy. So logic, you know, reason, evidence. If you don't follow these things, if you follow your emotions, you're gonna lose a lot of money. You're gonna not be a very good investor, be there very long. So I came at this from that perspective.
What were some of the themes or the subject matter, rather, of QAnon that piqued your interest, that made you decide, I need to dive in and do some research here?
It's funny because I've always been on the internet. So I kind of grew up on the internet, and you know, Bitcoin came around. I was there. Carbon 60 came around. I was there, and now you've got QAnon. You know, so I was there very early on. You know, February 2017. Not February, sorry, the end of 2017, but I was there Christmas Eve of 2017, actually reporting on it. So I was there as late as November, October, but you know, we started to grow this movement out of nowhere, and people started to come back and started to pay attention, and it's like, what is going on here? This guy on the internet is really getting famous, and his information's pretty good, and this is before the faith was kind of built up in the movement, because you know, nowadays they call it cult, they call it whatever they want, but people are convinced. People have seen too much.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us on Right on Focus, and thank you very much for being a subscriber. We want to continue to do stuff like this for you, so thank you very much. So thank you, and appreciate your work, and Dustin Nemos for coming and joining us.
Absolutely. Dustin's amazing.
Thank you. Oh, hey.
Hey,
you with that, Miss L?
Hey Nadine, happy birthday to you, girl. No, we're gonna sing a little bit, ain't we? Just a little bit. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nadine. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, guys. I love you.
Happy birthday, Nadine, girl.
Love you.